And we're back. Game number 2 of our leadoff best of 3 of the night. CDEC taking on TongFu. CDEC, as mentioned, coming off a very, very big win against LGD just last night, and now rolling in with that momentum in tow. And yeah, they've got about as much momentum as a train that's been on a downward slope for the last 24 hours. They just ran over TongFu completely and utterly in game 1, looking to repeat that success. They lead with a Skywrath and a Void. Great combination there. TongFu, though, they answer with a Razor and an Ancient Apparition. Break down the draft and lend his insight and analysis throughout the entire tournament. Welcome in once again, Trouf. Trouf, my friend, CDEC is playing very good Dota right now. That's putting it about as clearly as possible.
I think Maybe has really stood out to me as their star player. Like when I watched him in the series last night, specifically his puck play, which was just phenomenal, which really just kind of carried him throughout that last game. And then today, or just this last game that we saw, even though he had a bad matchup in mid, Quap versus Viper, he made the best of a bad situation and roamed around and just made himself useful. So he understands that sometimes if he can't win the lane, he knows what the next best thing to do is. And I think that's really important for players to recognize that. And maybe he's been really impressing me as of late.
Well, he definitely looked great. And Quap, I still feel like is one of those ultra situational heroes. I still feel like she needs something to get her back over the top a little bit. But that was the perfect example of a game in which she makes all the sense in the world. You know, it's against a Viper who's going to dominate just about anyone in lane, regardless of who he ends up going up against. So why don't you put it against a hero that does okay with gold, but is much more interested in the levels, and you can get active early. As we talked about during the draft in game 1, that lineup was just missing damage, and it was very greedy because of that. A lot of heroes who needed to get up a number of core items, they didn't have the time because of the pressure Maybe was able to apply. And then the Naga Siren had something like a 14-minute radiance. So you're talking just went totally awry for TongFu in every single way. This time, though, looks like they want to reverse their fate with Team Blue as they tack on a Vengeful Spirit pick to go with the Razor and the Ancient Apparition. I really like seeing Venge now in the current state of the game. I actually feel like she is really on track to be a true top-tier support once teams can, experiment a little bit more, fall into the patterns that they always do. I feel like she's going to be a hero that fits into a lot of lineups in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, we've seen this pairing in the Chinese scene, the Venge and the AA, very popular as of late. They both have good damage. They both can roam around quite easily, and they both offer something in the late game. Especially a Vengeful Spirit, like the swap is so effective, as we see a Faceless Void picked up here by CDEC. So Earthshaker and a Weaver very quickly snapped up here by TongFu. So it looks like they have some kind of an idea of what they want to do.
Yeah, Weaver's kind of bluish. I like it.
Kind of
bluish. He's more
turquoise.
I would call that seafoam green. Seafoam green.
Okay.
Right now they do have. I don't know, like Razor and Weaver again against 3 really strong heroes in the early phases of the game. Unless they can really have some success in carving the map up and setting those heroes back with the Venge and the Ancient Apparition. Weaver's another hero I worry a lot about, especially against heroes like a Faceless Void, a Skywrath Mage. Picking Weaver into those 2 in particular feels kind of chancy. You're picking it into one of the most potent silences in the entire game, and then an AoE lockdown that almost guarantees your death if you happen to get caught in the wrong position. The Wind Ranger pickup, though, in 4th position for CDEC, that's a hero that you and I have kind of, I won't say been going back and forth on because that implies confrontation. It's not so much that. It's just I see her keep being experimented with, and I just struggle so much to understand why in most situations you go with that pick as opposed to another.
I actually really like her right now. In this pick. Normally I'm not the biggest fan. I do not care for her as an offlaner, but I don't think she's going to be played offlane. I think she's going to go mid. And specifically her against the Razor, I think that's why they picked it, because looking at other heroes that could go toe-to-toe with the Razor that aren't banned out, there's not many of them, if any at all. There's a Quap available, which is okay against Razor, but Wind Ranger is thought to be one of the best solo mid heroes just because of the fantastic attack animation and the damage that you can output. And I actually think that Shackle Shot's going to be relatively easy to hit here on these heroes. And you also have good counter push coupled with the Earthshaker. So I don't normally like Wind Ranger picks, but I think it's very appropriate here.
Well, she's a nice spam hero, if nothing else. I mean, whenever you talk about just being able to spam out AoE damage, you're going to have that in spades with the Shaker and the Wind Ranger. And I don't know. It's just, I totally agree with everything you said. And The issue I always have is transitioning. Like, okay, let's say she has a good mid lane. Then what do? Do you go Orchid? Do you go Force Staff and try to play that kind of a game? Force Staff Blink?
I like Blink a lot.
Yeah, I dig it, but it just, in a situation like that, how many heroes could also go Blink and give you a more reliable stun than she could? Like, that's always the question I ask myself.
It's more of that, yeah, you can talk about in Theorycraft what item builds are going to be best here and play accordingly. But I think the biggest reason is that she just does okay against Razor. I think that's probably the biggest reason why CDEC picked her up. Honestly, they needed something that could lane against Razor and be quite effective. And they also have good D push. So also the shackle shot's very, very good against a hero like Weaver that is very mobile. But if he gets caught by something that kind of screws him up, like you don't expect shackle, like shackle shot's there in the back of your mind, but you don't expect it all the time. And it's kind of like the same thing as like a Potom arrow. Like it's coming, but you don't normally have your movement isn't dictated by a Potom arrow. It's like you don't always expect it. A Troll Warlord picked up last. It's good with the Void. I'll say that.
Yeah, there's synergy there, but they're gonna have maybe on the Troll actually. Okay, so it looks like they're farming the core Wind Ranger. Yeah. That's what they're doing. They're gonna make her a core, and I can get behind that, I guess. Like if you're going, I mean, the synergy between Troll and Void is very obvious, and that's the first thing that pops to mind. But I don't know though. Like Focus Fire is really the best reason to try to run the Wind Ranger as a core. Maybe they go aggressive with her, or maybe are they gonna send her mid anyway? Like she's making her way to mid now.
Well, she doesn't have mid. Those aren't exactly mid items. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah,
she's just rushing here to see what it is up top, and it looks like it will be, farming Windrunner. Okay.
Well, we'll talk about that in a moment. Right now, we've got TongFu wanting to get out and get active early. One thing that bothers me immediately about TongFu's lineup is they do not have many reliable stuns. They have Magic Missile, and if they're lucky, they'll get a Cold Feet proc. Other than that, they have no real lockdown, whereas CDEC has tons of it, at least in comparison. And this is good positioning by the Wind Ranger. Yep, got to spot it. And going to be just outside of range for the Magic Missile. Kabu caught by a fissure and takes a arrow in the back, not in the knee, and manages to make it away. So, early smoke, ineffective by TongFu. But yeah, let's talk about the Wind Ranger as the core. I mean, Focus Fire obviously is one of the few things that really can make her an effective core if she gets a ton of farm. What do you think is going to be the approach for CDEC in trying to really just farm her as a pure one?
Just play it like any other lane, honestly. Maybe they were just expecting the aggro tri lane. And that's what it does look like TongFu is going to do. They have the Razor in mid. And yeah, it's going to be a Darkseer bot. So this is just because they expected the aggro tri lane. So they're going to be having, I think they have a much stronger tri lane. Like Windrunner's very, very good in lane. Like really good. Just the attack animation, the ability to get away. Shackle Shot's not too great early on, but the spam is great. So I think this is, okay, I thought it was a counter to Razor, but now, because of the laning, they're just anticipating what TongFu is doing, and I like this a lot.
Yeah, now that you explain it that way, it does make a ton of sense, because now you're going to have the Troll against the Razor. I don't know, though. The Razor, he's going to do well in lane, and then you're going to have a Darkseer played by Red up against the Void. Void is going to struggle a bit, and wow, already there's a fissure, and Kabu, just like that, becomes our first blood. CDEC is going to end up trading one away for it, though. Still a lot of trading of damage. And Zhao Love is going to go ahead and Shikuchi try to find his way to safety. There are sentries down, and they do manage to get everyone away. At least it would seem so. Where did the Weaver scurry to? Yeah, there he is. Made it all the way back. So it ends up being a first blood. And CDEC drawing it, but they do end up giving 1 for 1.
I think the Fissure actually blocked out the Skywrath. It was like the Fissure plus the body blocking of Earthshaker, and the Skywrath kind of couldn't run away, and even the Windrunner was in a precarious position as a result of the Fissure. So, I mean, he was just throwing it out there to get that damage. They bursted down that Venge very, very quickly with the a sentry. He had to be careful, actually, because, I mean, this is a Weaver tri-lane, right? Like, you're going to put sentries against it. That's just what people do. And he walked up with it. Actually, he is possibly going to die again.
Ooh.
Oh, another bad Fissure from Garter, actually.
I don't know. There's a lot of ways you can throw a good Fissure there. However, the damage is going to be coming out on Q, and he's going to be melted down. Power Shot doing a fair amount of damage. Then get a kill on the Weaver. It'll make it worthwhile. Yes, trading 1 for 1 in that situation, not bad. They got to protect Garter, though. Now it's on the Wind Ranger. She does have Wind Run up in 5 seconds. No, she actually Power Shots. They're going to end up being a double kill. And he's going to end up probably... Oh, the South! Still not enough. One last auto attack brought him down. They should get LPC here, and they do. An absolute bloodbath in this top lane. Now Garter's under attack. Zhao Love trying to chase him down. Has Shikuchi right this second. Is that Earthshaker fast enough? Gonna make it under his tower? No, yes, he does survive. Now on top of him is Q. There's a power shot through the woods. Q chasing him down and will clean him up. A double kill for the Skywrath Mage. An utter bloodbath. 8 kills, all of which have taken place in this top lane. CDEC, though, comes out on top.
And then the Skywrath pulls the creeps right there, which cancel the clarity from Earthshaker. So he's like, screw it, I'm just going home.
Yep.
Yeah, very nice. This year's just seeing the power of Windrunner in these tri lanes. He has so much damage, and I mean they're trading back and forth. 8 kills at 2 minutes, but I've talked about this before. I think Weaver is overrated in tri lanes. I think people think that she's good in tri lanes, but I really feel like she's not. I don't know why I'm calling Weaver a she. That's just what I do.
You and most Dota pros, I swear, you call every hero a she, and last game you called Quap a he. How's that work?
Really?
Yes.
It's because Quap is a core. I don't know. But then again, I guess Weaver is a core too. I don't know.
Spectre a she, which is correct in this case. Exactly. So it's not just the cores. I don't know, but it's not just you. I swear to you, most old school pros do the same thing.
I don't know what it is, but regardless, this Weaver thing, this bug, is I just think overrated in lanes. Once Sakuchi's in, it's kind of like committed, at least early levels, because the cooldown's much lower than you feel like it should be. Because so much of your games in Weaver, nice power shot does a lot of damage, but they won't pursue. Most of the time when you play Weaver, obviously you max at Sakuchi so fast, and then you play a 35-minute game, 40-minute game, and you're used to that cooldown. And then you go back and play in a tri lane where you don't get levels quickly because you're sharing experience, and you're like, wait a second, it takes me forever to actually activate this again. So once you go in, you're committed, man.
Yeah, I gotta say, you're one of the first people I heard saying it a while ago, and you've stuck to your guns, and you've converted me. Magic Missile and Q.
That's the combo right there. This is AA Venge combination that people like so much right now.
And Fissure, that's a good one. Caught Kabu. He's going to be followed with a Shackle Shot, Power Shot. Going to right-click him down, and he ends up dying to the Wind Ranger. This is going to elevate that Wind Ranger to 3-1 in this try-on-try situation. And yeah, the pick, I don't know how it's going to end up transitioning so far as item build goes, but you're winning the lane, and that's a nice place to start. Good to have options, right?
Yep, absolutely. I haven't really looked at the other lanes as we haven't really had time to. But mid, with maybe playing the Troll Warlord, his damage has been sucked away. He's 17-0 compared to 18-12, so keeping it even, not too bad for maybe. And then bottom lane, the Void is up to 18-2 compared to 21-1. Slight edge for Darkseer, and that's to be expected. I mean, Darkseer just thrives in melee versus melee matchups.
And he's rotated towards mid. He picked up an invis. I don't even know how they're going to go about this.
Maybe
they just don't. They don't have any lockdown whatsoever. Like, even if you want to fight, I mean, yes, Razor's a beast. Now they've got Kabu there. That'll help, but still, that's a limited lockdown. They would have to just blow him up. And yeah, that's a missed vacuum. So all of that time spent for no avail. And down at bottom, Triple H quite happy to have a lane to himself. He's actually tops in CS right now. And that's worth mentioning as well. The Faceless Void usually can struggle some against the Darkseer because he has to get in the melee range to hit, and he eats a lot of damage from the Ion Shell. But he picked up a Magic Stick, and it looks like that's been enough to keep him sustained for a while.
Maybe there was this mind games. Maybe TongFu also at the beginning thought that they were going to run the aggro tri-lane bottom. Actually, hold that thought. Kabu's in some trouble. Fissure comes out. Darkseer's up here, though, and he's quite tanky, so they're not going to pursue. But yeah, what I was saying is maybe TongFu thought that they were going to go aggro tri.
Hang on, bottom, Chronosphere. Jalouv getting some help from his buddy. Let's see if he can catch. No, Cold Feet. Zhao Love is living dangerously, playing so close. And let's see if the Void will make it away. Nope. One last auto attack from Ancient Apparition, caught it from downtown. Speaking of, Kabu going to be caught from behind by Q. There's a good Fissure coming through the woods that time. Power shot right in the mouth. Tacks on another kill for this Wind Ranger, who is now 4-1-2. So you want to talk about a core Wind Ranger? This is as good a start as you could ask to have one. Now we're going to have maybe rotating down, caught LPC. No stun, though. Needs a bash. Not going to get it. Heads up play to TP right away. And Zhao Love had gone back to the base to regen a bit. But, yeah, this is just...
He actually TP'd right at the tower, maybe a screen away. So he's still here, actually.
Oh, wow, he is. I thought he went home. So yeah, I guess he just didn't want to leave lane.
That's actually fine. It's actually better, but he does leave the lane, or maybe he does go back to mid. So yeah, he's gonna start pulling now, and then maybe they can get another kill onto this faceless void.
So that top lane, a disaster for TongFu. They've abandoned it, and CDEC now just going to be able to leave the Wind Ranger alone and roam as they wish. I love Earthshaker and Skywrath Mage. One of the most impressive games of Skywrath I ever saw played was in Western Challenge. You remember when Fly, back before he was Simba, but Fly,
right, yeah,
yep, and he went like 18-2 in like a 32-minute game on a support on a 4-position Skywrath. It was ridiculous, and it was with an Earthshaker. So that combination can be so effective if the fissures are on point in the communications. There, we're going to have LPC jumped on Kabu. Gets off the magic missile. Here comes maybe from behind. Chronosphere still quite a ways away. Missed, actually, with the axes, so unable to slow him down. Red eats a lot of damage, but does manage to TP
dive.
Yeah, and here we go. We're going to have U9 come on over. Void's going to be able to make it away. Earthshaker not so fortunate. Maybe grabs himself a haster, and let's see if he wants to do something cute with it. Still got it in tow. And yeah, he's just going to run right up and take his chances. He got a fortuitous bash. Here comes Kabu back. Kabu does not have a magic missile, though. Maybe doesn't know that, though, as he did get the kill on the AA. Now he knows it, but Red's there along with Zhao Love. Look at this. Absolutely defiant in his actions. Gets off the
whirling. The wall.
Oh, man. Red is having a tough day. A tough day. He was having a hard day on the clockwork, and it's not getting a lot better on this Darkseer.
Yeah, nice space creation there from maybe, not to mention getting a nice second hit bash there on the AA.
Ooh. Speaking of bash, got a bash on U9. And they're going to go ahead and break the static link. Fissure to follow the Chronosphere, power shot, and a couple of auto attacks. He even had Shackle just in case he happened to need it. There was a stun from Kabu to follow it, but nothing else behind him. 6-9. This is just a ton of kills, man. And it is definitely going in the direction of CDEC. And look, yeah, I mean, it's still comparatively low just because it has been so active for both teams, and there have been plenty of kills on the side of TongFu too. But you can see a definite trend spiking downwards, super in favor of CDEC.
Yeah, I know that they buffed the focus fire a number of times, especially at the mana cost that it costs and all that stuff. But it's kind of funny that there's actually no synergy whatsoever between the Troll ulti and the Wind Ranger ulti. So that being said, I'm actually kind of curious why he got his ulti this early on. But yeah, maybe he's in a little bit of trouble.
He might, maybe. The Void's there trying to warn him off. He's going to eat some damage. Yeah, maybe he's able to bottle himself up. This guy just lives on the freaking edge, man. Like, that's twice now. He's made it away from situations that, for all intents and purposes, look like the pure feed. I guess it's not... You can't speak ill of it if you just have that good an understanding of your own abilities and the situation, but he is cutting it close. Smoke into mid. They're going to try to go on Kabu, and this should be an easy one. And it will be. Fissure's there. No, it's actually kind of a bad Fissure. He's going to be silenced, though. Has to try to run away. And yeah, he's probably going to survive because of the Fissures. So, Garter, who we've seen play Shaker a fair amount, eats a magic missile in the face. But we've seen him play Shaker a fair amount so far in CDEC's appearances, and usually he's pretty solid. Today, just not on it.
Yeah, he's had some very, very questionable Fissures, but very least they get the kill. Some extra space created there by Kabu by just running away, but they still got what they came for, which is the kill on the Venge. Extra levels now for the Troll. He's up to level 8. No points yet into Fervor, which I think is fine. Has Phase Boot and a Bracer, just some basic core items.
11 minutes in, amidst all of the chaos. Who do you think's... I mean, we can go by metrics, but I want to go more by just team composition. Who do you think's done more work?
Oh, I think definitely CDEC has. I think that they have late game potential, obviously, with the Void. They have good synergy between Void and Troll, and Void and the Wind Ranger, and they've won the laning phase. So yeah, definitely CDEC.
Zhao Love still trying to catch up a bit in farm. And the Void, as mentioned, treads poor man's and a magic stick. Looks like, no, just I was getting ready to say, it looks like things have calmed down some. TongFu rotating 2 more to mid. They want to make a run at maybe. Let's see if they're going to be on point this time. No help on the other side. And yeah, he's caught. Cold Feet, magic missile to follow it up. There's going to be an ice blast. TP's going to come, but it's not going to matter. Yeah, they even cancel it. Very well executed. They need more of that. I actually feel like TongFu would benefit from the game slowing down a little bit. But they are not going to benefit from Weaver dying, who happened to die in bottom lane amidst all of that. So he is not doing well. Weaver is 0-3 to start this game.
Yep, they used both the Echo Slam and the Void ulti, so I imagine it was a pretty decent Void ulti. We talked about how if you have a melee hero on your team that wants to also contribute, the Void ulti has to be perfect, and I imagine it was from 333, so hasn't had the most farm, but that'll definitely get him a little bit closer to that Mask of Madness.
And in mid, U9 taking some more damage. Yeah, he's going to pop the ulti. Here's a Fissure incoming. Ooh, he still missed it. He did, maybe even backed off of it, but he might have been able to get a kill there if he'd have followed up and gotten a lucky bash. So, I mean, these Fissures have got to get better. Kabu's there with the Magic Missile. Here's LPC to try to help out. In the meantime, there's going to be a Mystic Flare. Totally whiffs. Maybe did make it back to the high ground. Caught Kabu with the axes. Now, though, Magic Stick expended. And that'll keep him alive, at least for now. So we've got 4 in mid on the side of TongFu, 2 from CDEC. And let's see where they want to head. Looks like Eyeball and a Rune, but that's all they want to accomplish. In the meantime, this has freed up the Wind Ranger, who is still farming, and looks like she will get an Orchid, as she's already picked up an Oblivion Staff.
Yep, that's good. It's kind of like the quote-unquote standard build for Wind Ranger. I would say Force is very, very good on her too, but she also recognizes how underfarmed this Weaver is, so he's not going to have a Linken's anytime soon if that's what he wanted to go for in the first place.
Oh, smoke pop. Magic Missile on the queue here in mid. And the Cold Feet not even going to have a chance to proc as the Plasma Field helps clean things up. Chronosphere is probably going to be what they're relying on. It's only 20 seconds until it's up. If they decide to push here, they may just have to give the tower up, as the ulti should be up. Yeah, Ice Blast is there. They're going to go ahead and toss it, and vacuum back into it is maybe, and he's going to die because of it. That's what they've been needing. LPC going to be hit with a Fissure Power Shot. Nice swap, though, from Kabu. LPC able to keep himself alive just by using the Magic Stick, and Red TP's away in their face. In the meantime, there's that Chrono, fresh off a cooldown. There's a Mystic Flare onto LPC. They're going to get U9 as well. The sniper known as Wind Ranger picking him off once again. What a game it has been for him. 6-1 on that Wind Ranger, who opened up this game in a try-on-try. And CDEC once again, even though TongFu is at least keeping pace with kills, it does feel as if CDEC is getting much more valuable kills as well as slightly more kills in general.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think they're just getting more value out of these engagements. You see right there how the talent is there for this team. That was some amazing individual play from both the Darkseer and the Vengeful Spirit. That was a really, really clutch vacuum. I don't know if you saw that. It was like right...
Oh, yeah.
He was trying to dodge an AA Blast, but no, vacuumed him right back in. They understood that all the stuns were down. He TP's right out in front of their face, but yeah, the talent is there. It's just they need some more experience, and CDEC is showing that with their lineup especially. I just think the draft is a bit better on CDEC this time.
Yep, completely agree. TongFu going to try to get things under control as they smoke 3. They've got 1 in mid, serving as bait. That's Red. They drop a ward, and they're just going to sit on this high ground and hope to catch someone. However, no one's moving in that direction. Check that. We've got the Void moving in that direction, but they're going to go ahead and leave. So a little bit of bad luck from them, and now we're going to have an engagement on the Shout Love. Wow, missed him totally with the Fissure. Mystic Flare is going to be there, though, and the big Echo Slam as Garter drops the hammer to secure the kill. TongFu will be happy to take a tier 1. But, yeah, again, more value. I feel like oh, wow, Red TP's right on top of the Wind Ranger. Here's the Ice Blast. Barely going to catch him. There's a vacuum back in, but Wind Run's going to get him back to safety. Red looked like he wanted to pursue. Kabu kind of got hung up after being surged, so the Wind Ranger does make it away. But with the current value of towers being so reduced, I can't help but feel like killing the Weaver is actually much more valuable than giving up, than protecting your tier 1 there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, completely agree with that. It's going to be a drums out here. If there's a TP from the Weaver, if they have more sentries, she's got to be careful. They do not. They actually don't have any more vision, so...
Garter could be in some trouble. Going to get off a Fissure. Trapped him in. That's a good one. They may be able to kill him because of it. No. Time lapse on the other side. Ice Blast catches Baby from behind. Tower's going to end up dropping, but so will Maybe. Now, the Wind Ranger on the run. No mana. Has a few stick charges. Will use it just to Wind Run. Q's there behind him. Has a Mystic Flare he can drop just to try to create space and zone if he has to. But doesn't look like that's going to be necessary as TongFu backs off. So, a couple of good kills there. They lose their tower, but bringing down the Troll, the... opposite of what I was saying earlier, they get the better end of that exchange. They just have to take exchanges like that a bit more often. You know, they're not being completely run over this time, and they are keeping it very, very close. I just worry about the forward momentum of CDEC and how valuable their team's going to be if all farm is equal. And wow, there was a... wow, I don't know how they got the Weaver there.
Easy Chrono. Yep, just Chronos him and he's completely dead. I think this Weaver pick was a big mistake. Like it's a combination, I think, of the Weaver pick and them just mislaning it. She hold that thought as they're catching out the Ancient Apparition now. The ulti from Troll is coming out, but the damage is being sucked out from Void.
Kabu hits the magic missile, and that'll secure the kill on the Void. And CDEC's leaving the door open to them.
Oh, top lane.
Wow. Red manages to get a kill on his own, so not bad.
Solo kill also in the face of Garter onto Maybe, so that actually bumps him up to 1-0-1. He's level 12 now, highest in the game for the Darkseer. So nice, and he's all chatting actually. So maybe he's talking some shit.
Talking some schmick. Maybe having none of it. Does not want to hear it.
The dots are coming out.
Yep. That ellipsis though. But it's 15-13. Very active game. 28 kills in 18 minutes. And I don't know if this is going to slow up anytime soon. And yeah, those last couple of exchanges, that's exactly what we were talking about. They just got more value out of them, and now they're actually in the lead. And they need to make sure that they are constantly in the lead at this phase of the game. I like CDEC's lineup late game much, much more than I like TongFu's, I think.
Yeah, I think the Void is much scarier than anything that TongFu can offer. Simply because you can kill anyone if they don't have a BKB. And even if they do have a BKB, I think Void's farming well enough that he's going to be able to do enough damage to them. Weaver just has nothing. 0 and 5. At the very least has 70 CS, but needs much, much more to withstand something from a Chrono plus everything else that CDEC has to offer. And they have very, very good Roshan capabilities, too.
Well, CDEC is about to get a little bit more lethal on 2 counts. The Blink Dagger's almost done on the Earthshaker now. He's got 2100 tucked away for it, so it doesn't need much more. And the Wind Ranger, who's going to have that Orchid. Wind Ranger actually kind of bones a lot of what TongFu wants to do if she gets an Orchid up and can get on top of someone and Orchid these important targets. We're going to have to follow up. U9's going to be the one engaged upon Kabu, though. Got caught from behind. Hit with. There's a beautiful vacuum wall, but the Chrono goes off as well. Ice Blast is on point. They're going to try to follow this up and go against Red. Looks like they don't want to fight it out when they're Ice Blasted, though. That was as pretty a usage as we've seen this game of all those AoE ultis. The vacuum, into the wall, into the Ice Blast, and still they haven't been able to capitalize. In fact, it's a 1-0 in favor of TongFu right now. And let's see how ballsy they are. The Chrono was there to shut down the follow-up off the vacuum wall and Ice Blast. And thank goodness it was, otherwise that might have been the death of 3 or 4. But now, I honestly think that might have been TongFu's best shot at this stage of the game to really punish them and take a lead. The Orchid complete now, and Urn is done on the Skywrath, which isn't the biggest deal, but certainly is going to be a help. But the blink on the Earthshaker, I think, is going to make such a
blast,
difference.
Earthshaker. Oh, I think he should be fine. But yeah, blink for him. He actually uses Echo Slam on absolutely nothing in that fight too. Someone already died. I think it was Kabu already died, and he used it afterwards on actually the air. So kind of airballed it there, but an easy kill onto the Weaver. I think.
Yep.
Or magic stick charge.
No, he's dead. I mean, the bonus damage alone from the Orchid was going to be enough, I think. Like, this is ridiculous. They've got so many ways to deal with that Weaver, and if there was any lingering doubt about Weaver's efficacy in the aggressive tri lane, I believe you've put it to bed for me, my friend. Don't do it. Just don't pick it.
I mean, I think the hero is still fine, just not in this instance. And actually, purple is in a lot of trouble. Red, can they get a bash? They can't get a bash. Can they get a bash? They got a bash.
Yo!
They're actually both. I didn't even notice this as there's an AA blast coming up. They should be fine. But yeah, they both have heroes that have passive bashes. Just occurred to me.
And that's also good against heroes like a Weaver and a Razor, as a matter of fact. Speaking of the Razor, he's in trouble. There's that fissure, the blink on top, and Mystic. That's so much magic damage, man. But yeah, like 2 heroes with bashes against 2 heroes that want to kite and want to move around a whole lot like a Weaver and a Razor. They have so many good answers. So really, like, the more this game goes on, the more I appreciate their draft.
Yeah, I really like this Wind Ranger pickup. Like, I talked about this. I'm normally not a fan of this hero, but they really thought it's just a lot of mind games came into play. I think. Like, I think if TongFu just had Darkseer go top, it would have been a completely different story. Kabu's in some trouble. This time, it's a very nice Fissure. Garter blinks away, and he's just going to leave the kill up to Q, which he might not actually get it. There's a defensive swap for Kabu, so yeah, this might proc before the TP comes out. It does not. Very, very close.
So close. And they're going to try to chase this down. There's going to be the Orchid used onto the Darkseer, as now the Wind Ranger has to flee. Zhao Love should be able to stay on top of him, though. And yep, there's Red following it up as well. Leading them into the jungle. Behind that, we hear an engagement. There's a vacuum to clean it up. There's a chrono, though, on the U9, so they're going to end up going 1-for-1, dropping the Razor in exchange for the Wind Ranger. Let's see if they want to try to fight this out anymore. Garter's there. Uses his Echo Slam to buy a little bit of time. There we go. Jumping in is the Void. He's going to secure at least one more kill. Ice Blast is on the mark, but I don't know how valuable it's going to be if they can chase him down. Yeah, he's actually trying to stay and fight because here comes Maybe. Maybe right back into the fight, trying to go to town. Q's there. Now he's going to end up getting off the Mystic Flare, but with 2 targets, the damage isn't nearly as high as he would have liked it to have been. Maybe cleans up the Ancient Apparition behind it. Red now melting down Maybe with help on the way. That's Zhao Love. Oh, there's the vacuum. I'm not sure what the cooldown was. Had to have been fairly fresh off, though, and now Maybe a little indecisiveness in terms of where he wants to go. Using a drum charge and his phase to try and find some safety. Makes it to the high ground on the Dire side. Zhao Love's going to continue to pursue, though. Knowing nobody else is up, they can chase this as far as they want, at least for a few more seconds. No, he's actually... That's the 3rd time this game he's done that. Just been dead to rights. He's like, no, I'm fast. I'm too quick. Can't catch me. It's fine.
Yeah, Pete, pop drums, use phase, and people also don't forget that Berserker's Rage gives you an extra 40 movement speed. So Troll's a very fast hero.
17-22. After that set of engagements, CDEC gave up a bit. But as always, they just seem to always trade pretty close to even. And yeah, even so, TongFu makes up some ground, but it's still slightly in favor of CDEC, though we are at 24 minutes getting to the point where 1,000 gold advantage really is negligible.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a sloppy fight there. Like, they were all kind of spread out. Windrunner was running away from, or Wind Ranger was running away from everyone on his team for like 15 seconds. He kited them for quite some time. Earthshaker, yeah, he had an ulti, but he didn't really do anything. He got caught in a weird, awkward situation, so they just need to fight these fights more head-on for CDEC. Like, just sit behind the Void, let him multi, and then just use your spells all after that. But this Darkseer AA combo is really, really powerful, man. And they seem to be locking it in every single time, this vacuum into Ice Blast.
Yeah, it seemed like it took a minute for everything to really click with this composition from TongFu, but lately they've been executing, and it's why the game is as close as it is. It's going to be an Ice Blast thrown towards Roshan. Not going to find anything there. Taking a nice little stack of Ancients at the same time. Let's take a look at some item progression. Will be the Scepter coming out on the AA. Vinge is broke, but has an urn and some treads. Vanguard for Red, and against 2 melee heroes, as we talked about, would make some sense to perhaps get up the Crimson Guard. It'll be Razor going for his BKB, and it should be done shortly following the conclusion of this Ancient stack. Zhao Love going BKB as well, and he's not super far off of it, so the items are beginning to come together a little bit for them. We're going to have Kabu actually swapping back Q. Gets off the Mystic Flare, but a little bit of a panic Mystic Flare. Doesn't matter. Shackle's there on Kabu. Wall goes down. Here comes the Void. Void, oh, beautiful vacuum on the 3 heroes. Void just trying to tee off on Red, but he's so tanky with that Vanguard. Ice Blast on the money, and Red is still alive. Oh, barely finished off as the Fissure came in from the south. Q, though, chased under his own tier 2. Now the Wind Ranger trying to follow it up. Great Echo Slam. And they're going to try to escape with U9. Oh, there we go. Dat Blink on the Wind Ranger as he manages to stay short of the wall and still get the auto attack off. They end up going Razor, Darkseer, Vinge for the Void and the Skywrath. Not a bad trade once again. Maybe in the meantime, though, has finished his BKB. Now LPC engaged upon. There's the follow-up. Shackle plus an Enchant Totem, and that tree, as well as the Ancient Apparition, bite the dust. 26-19. This game is probably the most exciting in the Eastern Division we've casted so far, my friend.
I know it, man. Thank God. I was scared last game when we had the Naga pick. I was like, oh, God, please no.
God.
Please no. Another 90-minute game. The Shackle shot right there, the tier 2, right before the Echo Slam, it was set up onto the Razor. It was a very quick and awkward position, but he still got it. Fantastically done. Do you know his name, actually? I
don't.
Okay, yeah.
That's the thing. Like, I'd have to look through process of elimination, but the simple truth is I don't know the CDEC squad enough to be like, oh, yeah, it's obviously X.
Right.
And
yeah. Well, he's been performing well today. And
once I figure it out, I will remember it.
Uh-huh. And he did go for the Blink. I love the Blink. I said that at the beginning. I think Blink is so good for... I mean, this hero is most effective when you hit Shackle shots, right? So what better way to do it than buy a Blink to set you up perfectly for Shackle shots? So I really, really like the Blink.
No attempts at Roshan yet. And we're seeing AA be very conscious of it. And I'm curious when CDEC is going to take a run at it. Let's see. Their items didn't even get around to maybe. Maybe finishes BKB. With a troll, you can usually take a Roche very quickly, especially with a Faceless Void on team, who's almost got a Maelstrom done too. They're going to smoke right into this entire team if they're not careful. Yep, there we go. Red engaged upon. There's a fissure. Has a lot of help and swapped is swapped by Kabu. And yeah, I mean, that is such a chancy place to try to gank. And now we're going to have Zhao Love get eyes on Maybe and Garter. Garter blinks away, Maybe hustling and bustling. As we talked about his base movement speed, he's even able to open up a gap on a Razor, which is impressive on its own.
Yeah. Yeah, he's actually faster than the Razor, even if Razor pops the drums when the face boots are up.
And we saw a little engagement there from the Wind Ranger and the Razor, but both are okay. Ice Blast, a little late. Both teams starting to stabilize a bit. BKB up on the Weaver. He might finally be able to survive a fight if he's initiated.
They can combo him with Earthshaker.
Yeah,
but they're pinging him out. They want him to back up, so this could be a bait. These supports got to be careful though. This Earthshaker can just blow them up.
Yep, there's going to be the BKB. Kabu just super dead. No other way to put it. Yep. There's going to be the Echo Slam just to buy time. Slow from the axes. LPC didn't even try to run. Here comes Zhao Love. Wants to try to make something happen. There's the sentry that goes down. He got off the concussive shot, but disjointed. And he's going to be spotted. There's going to be a Chrono. And the Mystic Flare secures yet another kill in favor of CDEC. And this is kind of what I was talking about. This is their combat potential being bolstered by a little bit more survivability on heroes like Troll. And TongFu can't afford to lose too many more of those or they're just going to run out of steam.
Yeah, I think this is just coming to the part of the game where no matter how farms TongFu is or how good their execution is, actually hold that thought, they get a nice kill. Again, a solo kill from Red, so Red, he had a weird start at the beginning, but is really bouncing back and showing that he knows exactly how to play this hero.
TP in from Kabu, leads with the magic missile. It's going to catch Void. Void backtracks a little bit of that damage. Tower's going to end up dropping to Maybe. 20 seconds until BKB, not going to have any of it. As he dies through an Ice Blast. And finished off by the Razor. So they get the tower, but they give up two very important deaths. Okay. Let's see. Kabu hits him with the magic missiles. I'm not sure what he was doing there. Maybe he disconnected, and that's probably what got him killed because he was walking to right. I can't draw on the map right now. Walking to right here, and he was going to leap down. And there's even a regen rune there. So for no reason, he turned... Oh, I don't know. Maybe just a bad call, bad pathing, something. Either way, he's dead.
Little unfortunate for him, but Kabu's trying to do something. Nah, he's out of mana, so... Yep, I didn't see it, but at the very least, they did get the tower killed, and it was by the troll. It wasn't denied, so a little bit more gold taking off the tier 2 towers and freeing up some space for them to just farm off in TongFu's jungle. And as a result, they're going to have to kind of stick together. When Red's ulti is off cooldown, I think they can still take these massive fights with the AA blast up. Red is just... He's been playing very well. Level 18, still the highest in the game.
Yeah, he started off a little shaky, missed a couple of vacuums, but since then he's really stabilized. And Carter's going to be spotted here. Doesn't have an Echo Slam, does have a Force Staff. He does get off a two-man fissure. Force Staff's into the woods, and he's just dead. Yep, just buying time. Let's see if anyone wants to show up from the rest of his team. Nope, they're just playing back and going to defend.
Yep, and I bet the overall graph show it's pretty even. Oh, actually a decent net worth lead here for CDEC. But it's starting to come back the way, actually, of TongFu. Experience is almost just 2,500 gold. Sorry, 2,500.
Tower's going to end up dropping. Oh, he's going to get a Chrono. Got them both. U9's going to be the primary target. There's the Orchid and the immediate Mystic Flare onto Zhao Love. He gets the BKB off and does manage to time-lapse. He's eating so much damage. Still cleaned up. That carry Wind Ranger getting the job done. Tower's going to end up being destroyed by Razor, but I don't think they're too worried about it. Getting the Weaver. And let's see if they can get anyone else. Red just following right on into this. And now they're going to go ahead and dive this out. They have to get behind their own tier 2 back towards the tier 3. Rest of TongFu decides to wisely, I think, retreat. But they lost their tower, but killing the Weaver once again. He is 2-8, man. What do you do with a 2-8 Weaver?
I don't know. His net worth is... Oh, his net worth is pitiful. It's under 8K.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so he's not doing too much damage. I think the big thing in that fight was, the caster's curse right there. We just talked up Red, and he did not have the most effective wall-vac combo. I think he he vacuumed first and then walled and got like one person. And I mean, the Crimson Guard certainly was effective, but yeah, I think if he gets a better wall back into an AA blast, they just own the fight. That's a scary thing about this lineup. It's a very nicely crafted in that sense. I still hate the Weaver pick. I will stand by that. But as far as this Darkseer and these two supports, I mean, you can never go wrong with Razor too, right? So everything's good about this lineup, except I just don't like the Weaver.
Up, Kabu gets a magic missile off onto Garter. Over there is the Faceless Void. Doesn't look like he's interested in getting involved. Couldn't even get off the Fissure. Wanted to catch all three with it, but finished off by the vacuum before that. TongFu is just, they're kicking and screaming, man. They're not going to let go. But this is really going to hurt so much now. You've got a Deso Wind Ranger with an Orchid.
Yep. They got the physical damage now there, too. Because Troll is... Actually, he's not doing too bad. I thought he'd be a little underfarmed compared to what he's got right now. But this is a Roshan attempt. It's going down relatively fast, too, with the AA buffing up everybody. I don't know. It's going to be close.
They're going to get it. Whether or not they make it out, different matter. Let's see if they want to go. Yep, there we go. There's going to be a chrono. They got Kabu right off the bat. He's down. Now it's Zhao Love's turn. Behind that, though, U9 is hooked on to one. And looks like, yeah, the Void just wants to TP out. Looks like the rest of his team not as keen to follow him as he was to go in and secure a kill. They didn't have the Earthshaker. If they have the Shaker there, that's probably a way different fight. But instead, they only get the Vengeful Spirit. And the Aegis ends up going to the Weave. Or ends up going to Razor, excuse me. And now they're going to come back in. Maybe he just doesn't care.
He just
blows through. Yeah, just blows through. And zoning them out.
Yeah, I agree. If they have Earthshaker there, then he's such a large source of damage. Void, despite him having this Maelstrom and the Mask of Madness, actually doesn't output that much damage. There's a BKB down from Maybe, so I think he needs to be a little more careful than he's being right now. Shackle Shot does land.
And there's the follow-up. Mystic Flare is there. They're going to get the Aegis for free. Coming in is going to be the Void and the Earthshaker. And now U9 back up. They're going to try to pursue this out. No chrono available, obviously, for the Void. Garter, 4 staffs, throws a Fissure, and even has a Blink available if he needs it. Behind that, though, they go, oh, nice 2-man Shackle. Can they follow it? Maybe's right there. Yes, they're going to follow up. Enchant Totem. Red's going to be the target now. We're going to see U9 uses BKB. Wall goes down. No one's near it. They're going to have to pursue through it, though, to try to catch him. There's the Orchid. Red just going to stand there. There's a swap on the Red from the Venge. Doesn't matter as he just ends up dying regardless. Maybe very low, and somehow scurries to safety again. The man can't be killed. 4 for 1, and Maybe... See, even how has he died 5 times? Every time I look at him, he's running away from assured death. Every single time.
He's really, really fast. I believe he has 522 movement speed now with the face boots, like when he activates them. It's 470. Okay, now he's in Berserker's Rage ranged form, so. But when he has, yeah, it's going to be haste all the time. And his BKB just came out right in that little engagement. He used it not too long ago for the Roche fight. Didn't get too much out of it. But then they waited long enough to actually have that BKB up again. So that was really, really good for them.
Looks like things are going to settle down, at least for the moment. CDEC seems to be in control. They will go ahead and use the... Oh, no, Focus Fire. Jeez! Chrono plus Focus Fire just oh, hello. Kabu dies in the shadow of his own tier 2. And you can just feel it right now. It feels as if TongFu is coming apart at the seams. Just totally caught out that time. We even see the Wind Ranger going all the way into the base. No way. Garter's there. And yeah, he makes it away. Like they are just being toyed with at this point. That's really the only word.
Yeah, in addition to sending up shackle shots with the... Oh, hold that thought. Some bash is coming out of U9. If you can just keep bash lording him. Bash lord.
Has his damage reduced. It's going to be a vacuum wall that caught a couple there from Red, so he's doing some work behind that. The Razor still somehow alive as he didn't make it to the high ground. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like, the bash is awesome against everyone, but against heroes like Weaver and Razor who naturally just want to be able to keep some range on you. And, oh wow, he actually did feed that time.
Yep.
The one time, yeah, he ended up feeding. But Red denies the tower in the meantime.
I mean, you got to be careful against the Razor when he has Aghanims, because not only does it do physical damage, but it quickly reduces your armor too. So it goes hand in hand. It works very, very well. And Troll does not have very much armor.
Oh! Echo Slam, 2-man Shackle.
Oh, God.
And you gone, son. One's down, Red. Oh, swap by Kabu. Nice swap from Kabu. Kabu's really been a playmaker on the Venge this game. Has had really nice swaps, both defensively and offensively. Still, they end up losing the Razor after all, and they've got a big wave here if they want to push.
Yeah, unfortunately, he has also fed off 12 kills, but giving off a lot of gold as he saved some. But
nope.
Ulti coming up. Wow.
Only got one. Got LPC. He BKB'd in the midst of all that, too.
The Weaver has BKB and a Vitality booster. He's not going to do anything in these fights. That's the hugest issue. Hugest. I just said hugest.
He hits, without the Venge aura, he hits about the same as the Darkseer karate chops. Not even kidding.
Yep. That's the predicament they're in. He's just, I don't know. I mean, maybe if they don't feed as hard in the laning phase, but then that just comes back to I don't think Weaver's great in the laning phase and try. I really feel like if they just had the Darkseer top and a standard try bottom against who was down there, the Void, I guess. I think that would have been golden. Because this combination is so good. The support duo is so effective, as we've seen before in Chinese Dota. The Darkseer is just playing pretty well for the most part. They're landing some good Ice Blasts in combination with the ulti, with the vacuum. Razor's doing his Razor thing. It's just, then what? Meh. Got a Weaver with a Vitality booster. So.
Yeah. This game looking like it may have hit the point of critical mass for CDEC, as you take a look at the metrics. 12,000 gold, 15,000 experience, and they can basically set the pace. And holy, are you kidding me? That's an Assault Cuirass done on this Wind Ranger.
Yep.
Yeah, she's got a... That's absurd. They're going to just rip this team apart if they're able to get on top of them.
He just popped a deity, so he's actually hitting for 400 damage. Over 400 damage.
Oh, hang on. LPC, caught, shackled, does latch. Mystic Flare, totally gratuitous, but kills the kill, and they get a gem out of it. There's Sentry down as well. That gem will be quite handy-dandy. Let's see who grabbed it. That probably was the Skywrath, yeah. Has the gem, and they're ready to go high ground. He's going to be down for 40 seconds. That's actually a deceptively big pick. He doesn't have buyback, and now they don't have to worry about Ice Blast. They can just hang around, or they can just rush it and not be rushing into a situation that's quite as bad. Waiting on the creep wave now, and we'll see how they want to engage it. Feel like they really, really want to catch the Venge with the Chrono if they can.
Yeah, I agree. I think doing that's been effective. We've seen the times that he has caught the Venge. That's just been a very, very easy fight for CDEC. And Venge, does he have level 11? He's at level 14, so... As long as he keeps his distance, he should be fine. Pushing up against the Darkseer, you cannot underestimate that at all, even though they did get the pick off on AA. And for good reason, they respect that, and they actually back off.
Yeah, looks like they just want to wait for an Aegis. And they're not going to wait long, only about a minute now.
'Tis mine.
And there's a smoke from TongFu. As they're going to use Razor as bait. He's going to go out and farm mid, and they're going to try to prompt some kind of collapse out of CDEC. And they've got LPC up front. Yeah, here it comes. CDEC should have sniffed this out. Yeah, they're going to walk right up into it. Oh, no, this could be huge. There's a Chrono. Got 3, but they're a little jammed up by the Fissure. Not going to matter. The Shackle follows it up. U9's going to end up dead. Red's on the low ground. Has yet to move finally. After the Chrono. And that's a wasted wall. And he's going to be Orchided now. And the follow. Beautiful Fissure. Garter getting it together late. And that might, I was going to say that might be your ball game, and it sure enough is. CDEC wins 2-0, and just like that, they're on the right side of 500, and they're in our top 4 in Eastern Division play. They're looking good early on here. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, maybe, and the guy whose name I do not know have really played well. I mean, we had some really nice Chronospheres that game, too, and the last one just really sealed the deal. As you saw, when you get that Venge in there and he's not able to save anybody, it's just kind of a disaster. And the Weaver came in, literally BKB'd, Sakuchi'd in, and almost went from full to nothing in less than a second and a half. And he actually had a time lapse and just ran away. Couldn't do any auto attack damage, couldn't live. I really think it boils down to this Weaver pick, but nonetheless, well played by CDEC. I think it's more of CDEC played better than an outdraft. I think CDEC played very well today.
Couldn't agree with you more. 40 minutes of time it took collective. Less than an hour. Both games put together. TongFu, I mean, again, you can see it. You see these glimpses, these flashes. Zhao Love's not terrible. I've seen him play well. U9 is not bad. He plays well. Red and Kabu, and LPC in particular. Red and LPC the most. Saw them really get it together and make a couple of nice plays, but the consistency just isn't there. The ability to translate a string of good plays into a string of nice objectives, just
Right.
lacking so far. And I want to see this TongFu squad develop. At this moment, it reminds me of D2L Season 1, the very first season we ever did of this. It was just when Fnatic, well, the team that was Fnatic up until just recently, when those 5 guys had just switched full-time from Han to Dota. And they came in and they looked about like this, really. You'd see some moments of brilliance, but they just lost a lot. But towards the end of that season, the light came on and they started to win some matches, and then they became a true contender. And I can't help but hope that's what happens with TongFu.
Yeah, I agree. I think they just need the experience. You can clearly see the talents there. We saw some really nice individual plays from several players, but they just need more time. They need more time, and they'll get it.
Well, our first best of 3 is in the books, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the show thus far. We've got a second best of 3 coming up shortly. That'll be Team DK taking on Lai Gaming. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers, broadcasting live from our downtown studio here in San Francisco. D2L Season 5. The action rolls on. We've got one more best of 3 tonight. 2 more coming up tomorrow, which is Sunday night Pacific Coast time. And then I think on Monday, I need to confirm that's going to be when we play DK versus HGT, a makeup for the dropout of New Beast. So after that, we'll be off for a couple of weeks. And during that time, you can watch other lands. I'm pretty sure, yeah, we've got tons of other stuff to watch as we're giving all the teams a break so they can focus on that. But we're going to be hitting it hard when we come back with Western and Eastern divisions both going at the same time. Tralf and I, as I counted it up, will be doing something like 40 best of 3s over the course of 2.5 weeks. So should be a lot going on here on the D2L channel on Twitch. Make sure you hit follow, as you don't want to miss a moment of that action. And during our downtime right now, make sure you head to kingston.com/D2LS5. My favorite headset I've ever worn in terms of consumer grade stuff, the HyperX Cloud. Phenomenal. I've described it forever as couches for your ears. The sound quality is great, and it's used by most of your favorite pro gamers, especially if you like Western pro gaming. And it's on a huge sale right now. Us working with in conjunction with HyperX and made this happen for the next 48 hours. And you can get what is normally a headset priced at $99.99 for only $69.99. So chopping a third off of the price for you. For all the details and access to being able to buy it at that price, head to kingston.com/D2LS5. Our next series coming up, again, going to be Lai Gaming taking on DK. Lai Gaming has looked really good, Tralf. DK, I'm so interested to see how they develop throughout this season as well. I mean, I'm really having fun watching a lot of these young teams. What do you think of that matchup before we go to break?
Now, help me out here. Is DK the one with CTY?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm very interested to watch him. A lot of people have just said that he's one of the better mid players in the entire scene there. He performed particularly well in the Morphling. That was a series where Morphling was picked on every team for the best of 3. So I would say definitely look out for CTY.
Looking forward to it. All right, guys, let's see. It is 10 till 8 right now here on the West Coast, so it's going to be about 70 minutes. Go watch another stream, but before you head there, again, kingston.com.